Peace and Yah bless. Yah is the strong one. The strong one is Yah. He's the tree of life. He's the fountain of the living waters. He is the spirit and creator of all things that live and breathe. On this particular discourse, I'm going to talk once again to the gentlemen. Okay? These wonderful Hebrew Israelite gentlemen. Okay? And they could be in the land or outside the land of Israel today. Okay, we're going to talk about how you should be and what you should be doing at this time concerning, I would say, what you will be doing about your brides, okay? The women that you're picking to spend the rest of your life with, okay? Women who are making lifetime commitments to these most wonderful and electric and eclectic gentlemen. Okay? Now, my job is naturally to always be a wonderful counselor, because there'll be a great many things I will have to counsel many people about. It could be anything in general, within their relationship structure, or just anything that concerns the nation, okay? Anything that requires counseling, okay? That's a part of the governor's job, okay? As what he does, all right? So let's get ready to go to the book, okay? Now, I'm sure I have your attention, okay? I got your attention. That 3-letter word, right? And it says, now that I have your attention, don't forget to meditate, love yourself, eat healthy, read books that will give you wisdom, live in the moment, and be kind to every being. Okay? So I'm sure I have your attention now. I'm glad that I do. Now, this particular discourse, this may not be for your children, so I wouldn't have your children, listening to what I'm going to say, okay, during this particular discourse. All right, because of some of the subject matter, because when you're counseling men, you have to counsel men, counsel like men, okay? You talk to them like men. You talk to them where they are on their level. You don't talk way above their heads, and you don't talk way below their level. You talk eye to eye with them, even with them, okay? That way you can, get through, to these gentlemen, and you want to be able to, be able to give them some wise understanding, okay? In what they're getting ready to embark on, and this journey that they're getting ready to go on, and why it's so important to have the correct wife, the correct women in your life, okay? Because we are the leaders of our households. And you Hebrew Israelite gentlemen, okay? And I'm talking about those in the land, those getting ready to make the Aliyah, going back to the land. And we're getting ready to make that Aliyah soon, as you guys can see by watching in the earth, all the events going on in the earth, okay? So I'm going to try to counsel you guys a few more times about, what you should be doing and how you should be doing it at this particular time, okay? Because I want you guys to be on point, and I want you to get home, and I want you to have healthy relationships, and I want you to have beautiful wives, okay? But I want you to understand there are definitely contingencies, okay? There's definitely contingencies and things you should be thinking about concerning those wives, okay? And how to pick them, okay? And have wonderful sex lives, right? And have wonderful children that will come from those wonderful sex lives, okay? So that's my job as a counselor, okay? Because I'm going to hear all kinds of stuff when I get to the land. I hear all kinds of problems, okay? So I'll get the chance to counsel, okay, about many different subject matters. That's why my videos, they are so diverse, okay? Because you get to hear all kinds of different things, okay? You're going to hear about sexual things. You're going to hear about relationships. You're going to hear about how the law applies to those particular things, okay? That's the key. All right. So let's talk about divorce first, okay? Let's talk about that first. All right. Now, divorce inside of the land of Israel, when we get there, right? Even now in the door of Babylon, handled by, Hebrew Israelite gentlemen, okay? It's a little bit different procedure, okay? See right there, it says divorce procedure, okay? So go to Deuteronomy, right? Chapter 24. Okay, we'll get a little bit of understanding. I'm not going to read the entire thing. Okay, I'll try not to anyway, all right? But the key with divorce is we would rather people not divorce, okay? Because whenever you make these vows and these things like that, it really is for a lifetime, okay? That's always our goal, is to get the couples to commit to lifetime agreements. Now, as we know, there'll be some cases where that, may or may not be impossible, to make happen. But we'll do everything in our power to try to facilitate that matter. Okay? So very, very important. Okay? So what's the first thing that a man does whenever he, let's say, the woman's, let's say she either vows or he's married to her, whatever the case is, and, hey, she, tries to step out on him, on the relationship, which would be very unwise because there's rules inside of the land of Israel. Now, I've been warning people about this whole time, because some of these people, man, their pants are so hot, man, that, they really don't know how to control themselves, okay? Because, some of you men, when you get to the land, you're going to see all kinds of women that you've never seen before. But you got to be able to use your discipline, okay? If you decide to, take on, wives, and particularly don't take on more wives than your household can handle. Don't take on more wives than your pocketbook can handle. Okay, men? Know and understand that. Now, for the women, if you're listening, just apply this the same way to yourself, okay? The same way I'm talking to these men. Because I'm counseling the men first because they need the most counseling because they're the heads of the households, okay? And being the heads of their household, they need the most counseling, okay? And they need to understand, the rules as far as what can be done and what can't be done, okay? All right? So let's read 24. When a man hath taken a wife, okay, and married her, okay, and it come to pass that she find no favor in his eyes. Okay, I'm going to stop right there. Okay. Now, gentlemen, okay, let's say you get a couple of wives from over here in the door of Babylon. You take them back to Israel. And you get there and, things don't fall into place like you would like, okay? That's not an automatic. You can't trigger the divorce process automatically because, you dislike the woman for any particular reason. Okay? All right? Let's just put it this way. Let's say maybe she's not quite as exciting as you would like her to be. Maybe, in the bedroom realm. Okay? Maybe she's just very traditional. Okay? And, you want her to be a little more, on the other side of things, so to say. All right? Well, you can't just trigger the divorce certificate, okay? You can't trigger the process, okay? As you can see, okay? Even though, she's not found favor, okay, in your eyes. And the same thing goes for women, okay? But the key to the land of Israel, the woman can never trigger this, okay? It would have to be, a situation, where basically the high court, we would have to intervene in a, some kind of a situation that's not good or unhealthy for her, okay, then we could come in and decide what, what should be done, right? If the woman, if her complaint about that man is so great, okay? But anyway, okay, so, I'm talking about something like physical abuse or something like that, all right? But anyway, so back to this, okay? The key is she's found no favor in his eyes because he have found some uncleanness in her, okay? Now, when it says uncleanness, that generally speaking about like, idol worship or, or she's committed some sort of an adultery, okay? Then he can trigger the divorce procedure. Other than that, there's really no reason for a man to be worried about triggering the divorce procedure, okay? All right, but if it gets to a point where they can't, be together, it's just, it's not fixable, okay? Then let him write a bill of divorcement and give it in her hand and send her out of his house, okay? Now, this is very specific, okay? So he triggers the divorce procedure, okay? Then he writes her a bill of divorcement. He gives it into her hand and he sends her out of his house, okay? And when she is departed out of his house, she may go and be another man's wife. Now, very careful right here, ladies, okay? Because I've been watching this right here. Because for me, I don't want you ladies trying to be slick, see? So you can't get back to the land of Israel and try to do something purposely to make this man trigger this process. Because we're going to be watching that, okay? Because let's just say, you had another man follow you there, okay? You told him, well, let's say you're a Gentile, and I'm gonna get there through him, but when I get there, I'll cause him to divorce me, and then I can go marry you because that's what it says in the Bible, right? Okay? Because I can see some of you women, I can see your devil horns coming up, when you hear about this part right here, okay? That you can depart his house and then go become another man's wife, because, some women might, try to be slick. But remember, only the male himself can actually trigger this process. Because for every time we hear about this, we're going to cross-examine and see what's going on. It'll probably definitely be brought before me, be brought before the ambassador queens, counselors, etc. Because we're going to figure out why this male has done this, okay? Because it's not good for the nation for people to be divorcing, once they've, agreed to be in a union. When you agree to be in that union, then, generally you agree for a lifetime, unless the woman goes and once again does what? She commits an adultery of some kind, or she steps out of her vow. Then you can trigger this process, okay? Because you found what? That uncleanness, okay? All right? Because she's done something against the law that she should never have done, okay? Now, once you trigger that process, though, men, okay? I hope you guys are understanding this. Go read this after I'm done, okay? If the latter husband hate her and write her a bill of divorcement and give it in her hand, right? And send her out of his house, okay? Or if the latter husband, or if he died, right? Which took her to be his wife, her former husband would send her away, may not take her again to be his wife, okay? After she is defiled, for that is an abomination. Now, what is that trying to say right there? That's saying that, I've explained this before, but I'm explaining it to you again. Husband number one filed the divorce procedure, right? Okay? Let's say he comes to me or one of our counselors and starts a procedure. We do an investigation. We find out why. Well, we find out she's been coming out of somebody's house, some man's house, okay? And there's also another part of this, okay, called the jealousy ritual, okay? And once that's been proven, well, then we go ahead and we approve him, to go ahead and, and let go of his wife, right? Okay, well, then he gives her that certificate. She goes out of his house. Now, once she goes out of his house, she can go free. She can go remarry, okay? She can do that, okay? All right? But like we said to the women, don't try to use this on purpose because we're going to look into each case, okay? So don't come over to the land with this written in your heart because we're going to find out about it, okay? The Holy One of Israel, he'll tell us, okay? She came over to the land with that written in her heart because she read it in the book, so she was doing things purposely to try to get out of the marriage, okay? All right, we're going to be looking at that for all of y'all thinking about something like that. Believe me, we're already ahead of you. Okay? All right. So what the rest of this is saying is husband number one, once he divorces her, he can't come back around later on and try to remarry her again. Once he gives her a divorce certificate, it's over with. Okay? She can't go back to him and he can't come back to her. So once the union is severed, that's it. Okay? Irreconcilable or not. Okay? Once the union is severed, that's it. Okay? Now, when she leaves out of his house, as you can see, there is no requirement that she take anything from him, like in America. Because in America, sometimes, they make the husband and wife split everything, right? Or whatever the case is. Not the case in Israel. You're not going to have those rights in Israel. Why? Because that man's estate, or maybe the lot that he's on, that goes down to his next heir, to his son, whenever he leaves the earth. Because see, in Israel, we're always leaving our heirs, the sons in particular, we'll always leave them, the lots or our property or things like that when we leave this earth, because nobody leaves the earth with anything. You don't come here with nothing, you don't leave with anything, okay? So this divorce procedure is very intense and very important to understand, okay? So for all you men, you can't, you can't catch feelings after you file this divorce procedure. Okay, you can't go reattach yourself back to that woman. Okay, you can't go, oh man, I miss this, or I miss how great sex was, or whatever the case was that was going on before you actually divorced her, right? Okay, before you file this, you can't get thinking about it, then go, oh, I'm gonna go back and get my wife back. No, because she's already probably went and married another man. Okay, or went and laid with another man, which makes her married, right, to another man, right? So she's probably already done that, right? That's why I said it's an abomination, because you're putting yourself in an unclean position before Yah. Okay, that's why you can't do that. Okay, so it doesn't matter. The latter husband, if he writes that bill of divorcement and puts it in her hand, hey, that's it. Okay, or if the latter husband died, doesn't really matter how it goes. Okay, now. Whoever marries her next, the same rules apply. That's what it's telling me. Okay? That if this husband that she married, see, this is husband number 2. This is husband number 1, okay? Because, once husband number 1 let her go, she went and got remarried, right? But that husband either died or divorced her too, right? Then this former husband, right, or former husbands, right, they can never come back to that woman again, okay? Once she's released, okay? Very important that you all understand that, okay? Very important that you understand this divorce procedure, right now, okay? Deuteronomy chapter 24, gentlemen, go read, okay? Very important that you understand that. I told you the Torah law is some of the greatest, law there is, okay? Naturally, I'll go over this. In the land of Israel, the woman shall not do what? She shall not wear that which pertaineth unto a man. All right? Neither shall a man put on a woman's garment, for all that do so are an abomination unto Yah thy God. Okay? You're abomination for doing that. Okay? So you can't come over there, with switching up garments. You know what I mean? A woman's garments are meant for a woman. A man's garments are meant for him. Okay? Very, very simple. Unlike America. You know how America, they do anything goes in America. You know what I mean? Now, to go along with that divorce certificate, okay? Very, very important that you understand something, okay? That you understand Deuteronomy chapter 22, verse number 22. If a man be found lying with a woman married, right, to a husband, okay, then they shall both of them die, okay? Both the man that lay with the woman and the woman, okay? Both parties, okay? So shalt thou put away evil from Israel, okay? Very, very important, okay? All right? Find out for sure whether a woman is married or not. Keep asking, okay? Make sure, because, I know there are certain situations where women are not married that appear to be married. I'll just say it like that, okay, gentlemen? But check, man. Always ask, man. Because if you ask and she hid it from you, well, then that's on her. But if you knew and you did it, presumptuously, okay, on purpose, well, then that's a problem, okay? In the land of Israel, we will take you out and you will be stoned to death, okay? By the nation. The nation carries out this thing, man. For real, man. This ain't no joke, man. You notice it says bring out both of them and they die, okay? Now, a man can generally have more wives, okay? But he may not go lay with somebody else's wife. You know what I mean? Presumptuously. He knew about it. You know what I mean? He knew the whole time, okay? Now, if something you don't know, then you should find out, okay, for yourself, whether or not a woman is actually, a woman who's married to another man, for sure. Okay, when you get to Israel, you will be stoned to death. Okay, that's the corrective measure for that. For adulteries, I know some of you men are super hot to trot. Okay, and a lot of you women sometimes are super hot to trot. So you got to be able to, use self-discipline and control in the land. Okay, if not, you're going to get yourself in a lot of trouble, man. Okay, it could even cost you your life. Okay, as you can see. All right. And then there's also a ritual called the jealousy ritual. But I'm going to go over that on a different video. Okay. Now, the jealousy ritual is there if the man just hears about something like that. He hears that his woman's running around on him. He gets jealous. So he takes her, covers her head, and brings her to the temple. That's what he'll do. And then we will administer a process that will tell us the truth on whether the woman actually stepped out on the man or not. Once that process is complete, then it'll go to the court for judgment. And then that's when this will come into play. Because we'll go discover the man, we'll bring him, we'll discover the woman, we'll bring him before the high court, and we will sentence them to death. And then it shall be carried out. Simple as that. Okay? That's the book, man. That's the Torah. I told you there's no law mightier than this law. There's no law on this earth mightier than the law of God, which we call the Torah. The Torah is just the instructions, okay? See, these are instructions of what not to do or what to do in whatever case. Sexual matters, divorce, whatever it may be. Jealousy, etc. Okay? The jealousy ritual is just there so that the man, he might just be accusing his wife, without actually knowing, without proof. You know what I mean? Because one individual or another female might say she saw something that she didn't actually see because she's jealous, okay? Now, let's go to quality versus quantity, okay? Quality versus quantity, all right? Gentlemen, get you a quality wife, okay? Get a quality wife, okay? Don't worry about looks all the time, man. Get you a quality wife. A lot of gentlemen, you're only picking women because of how they look. Man, that can get you in trouble because, you don't, in the Daughter of Babylon, especially if you're from different places, you don't know how you're vibing. You know what I mean? Because for me, you have to really get in front of people and feel their spirit. And then, that's when you start vibing. You know what I mean? That's when you start vibing. So I'm talking about, get spiritual energy, between each being, you know what I mean, that travels back and forth between the two, the man and the woman, all right? You start vibing, you know what I mean? But, sometimes you can catch vibes before that, okay? So, but remember, get you somebody quality. Don't just think about quantity, okay? All right? Going the distance. You want to find a wife that is a lifetime bride or a lifetime wife, okay, for you. So you can produce wonderful children and all those things, okay? Make sure you get a woman that's her mindset, hey, I'm with you for a lifetime. Okay, that should be, if that's not her mindset, then that's the wrong woman already from the outset, okay? So, that's why it's good to have conversations with these women about these things, okay? So we can get that understood, okay? These are lifetime commitments. Remember that, okay? Get somebody that can go the distance. Laws of attraction, okay? Laws of attraction, remember, women's bodies change, gentlemen, okay? Their bodies change. They may not remain, all, plickety-plack forever. I'm talking about super thin or whatever the case is, all right? They may not be plickety-plack forever, okay? But you may not try to trigger a divorce decree because of that, because of the laws of attraction. Because maybe she started off very thin, but later in her life, maybe she gains, some pounds or whatever the case is, which happens to a lot of women, right? Okay. Well, you can't just get out of the marriage because of that, because of the laws of attraction. She's less attractive than whenever you met her. Okay. All right. I would just get with her and encourage her, first of all, to go out, hey, do a little better, with where she is. That's all you do. Just encourage your wife, help her. You know what I mean? Don't let the laws of attraction cause your marriage to fail. Okay? Time heals everything. Now, what do I mean by that? Because some of you women, okay, you're going to meet men that you've met here in America, and you're probably going to meet each other maybe face to face for the first time when you get to Israel, okay? Let time heal. What I mean by that is you may not be on the same frequency right away, okay? Because remember, some of you people have never been in the same household together. So it's gonna be some learning curve for all of us, It's gonna be some learning curve. Not only the law itself, learning the law, what to do, what not to do, but also getting used to being around people. Like I said, some of these females, they've never been around other females. Some of them don't even want to be around other females. They're like, oh man, I don't even want to be around another female at all, Israel is not that kind of way, man. Okay? It's basically a very, very, family type of an atmosphere. Okay? A very neighborly type of an atmosphere. People are going to know you, gentlemen. They're going to know you. They're going to know which women are actually your wives and which women are not. Okay? Et cetera, okay? But give it time, when you first get there. Especially, I would say, if you have more than one wife. You ladies, you got to give things time, man. Because you guys are going to get there and, the Flavor Flav show going to jump off, okay? Everybody's fighting over this or fighting over that, or this woman took this or this woman did that. Somebody left, the soda out of the refrigerator. Somebody didn't put it up. You can't let little things like that, okay, mess up your wonderful, godly union. Okay, give things time, okay? Time heals everything, okay? No different than the law of adjustments, okay? Because getting accumulated to each other is very important. And it takes time, okay? Some women they've been living by themselves this whole time. So it's definitely going to be a transition for them to go over to the land and actually live with a man, right? Whom they've never seen face to face, right? Okay? And or maybe two other women that they don't know anything about. I mean, that's a lot of transition, okay? It may be, in some cases, may be impossible. So we'll be watching all these things when we get there, okay? All right, what we call your high court, okay? We'll be watching everything to see what happens and how this goes. Now, females, don't bring female drama with you on purpose now, okay? All right? Don't bring the female drama with you. Come there with an excellent attitude that you're there to make your union work, okay? You're there to make your relationship with your other sister wives. You're there to make it work. Don't come there, automatically, with a bad attitude, or, your union's never going to work, okay? So these are just things that I know people might think about, okay? That they should be thinking about and that they should be considering. Okay? Now, as far as Levitical priest and the high priest, well, they have rules, okay? All right? They have rules to how they can marry, okay? They can't just do any old thing, okay? Matter of fact, you go to Leviticus 21, and it tells you about that. Now, I'm not a Levitical priest. I know people think that. I'm not a Levitical priest, all right? So, I'm not after that order, but I'm after a priestly order. Okay, Melchizedek, which is a different kind of thing. It's more of a priest who manages the temple. I manage that process. Okay, but the actual priest carry it out. Because whenever I come to the temple, I don't rank over them. They rank over me. Because I can't even go into the inner court. Remember, I'm bringing sacrifices to the temple for the people. If you go read Ezekiel chapter 40 to 48. Okay? I'm bringing things. And they actually put those sacrifices on. So inside the temple, when I get there, their rank is higher than mine. Okay? Only inside the temple. But I still manage what they're doing. Okay? What they call, sometimes they call your blue work or what's called red work. Okay, if you don't know what that is, you're going to have to go look that up. Okay, but all these things are so important. Okay, now for the high priest, here in verse 13 of Leviticus 21, tells you he must marry a virgin. I'm talking about the Zadokites. Okay, he must not marry a widow or a divorced woman or a woman who's defiled by prostitution, but only a virgin from his own people. Okay, she can't be from another nation. Can't be like a Gentile or something. Okay, it says what? That he not defile his offspring, because that's a very important position to be, after the Zadokites. Okay, now for the regular priests, they have their own code. Okay, basically similar to this one right here in verse number 7. Okay, they must not marry a woman who's defiled by prostitution or divorced from their husbands, okay? Because they are the priests of the holy and are holy to their God, okay? So there's definitely a regard you have to look at. You can also read that in the book of Ezekiel, okay? Which talks about the third temple and the high priest and the priesthood and the things that have to happen and are required for priests, okay? All right. Wonderful counselor. I told you that's what I do, okay? That's what I'm going to do forever. Sexual matters. Gentlemen, let's talk about sexual matters. In the bedroom, I've told you about that, how to handle the bedroom. Okay, you can only take one woman at a time. Okay, make you a schedule for your wives. Treat them good. Okay, all right. Don't pick women because you're picking them because they're so-called, I would call, sexually experienced. Okay. Or people call them freaks, okay? However you want to say it. Don't pick a woman because of that, man, okay? Because that same woman she is here is going to be that same woman over there. So be careful who you pick, man. Don't pick them just for sexual matters. That's my point, okay? Don't pick them just for sex, man. Okay, you think there's some kind of a freak, or you women. Don't pick Ben for that matter, okay? Because remember, these are lifetime commitments, okay? Don't do that, gentlemen. Pick you a quality woman, okay? Now, it turns out that's what the deal is, then good for you. It's a bonus, okay? But don't pick them for that reason. Because whatever freakiness they got, it better be for you and you alone and no other man, okay? Keep that in mind, all right? Because as you can see right here in verse number 17, there should not be a whore of the daughters of Israel. So the Israelite sisters, you're not supposed to be no whore. Nor a sodomite of the sons. Okay, for all you men out there, man, you're not supposed to be no homosexual, man. Okay, tells you that right here in the book. All right, tells you that. Easy laws and statutes. Now, what y'all do here in the daughter of Babylon, that's up to you guys. Okay, but what we're going to do in Israel is enforce all these laws. Okay. So if you are already a homosexual, there's no need coming to the land. Once we find it out, you will be dealt with by the law. Okay? Simple as that. All right? For you women, you can't keep your legs closed. You better learn how to, or you're going to get dealt with by the law. All right? And especially you daughters of priests. If your father's a priest, you're not supposed to be no whore. Okay? You will get dealt with by the law, man. It said burnt with fire. That's the law, right? Okay? All right. So just a little bit of more counseling for you gentlemen, all right? Because there's going to be a lot we're going to go through. And there's a lot of projects. And I don't want these small matters to be coming before me or before my counselors or before my ambassadors, for things you can go read in this book right now and start getting knowledge about and be able to, already know what you should be doing. But pick you a quality woman and not quantity. And let time heal. Okay? In other words, you guys give yourself time to adjust to one another when we get there. Okay, when you get to the land. Give yourself time to make those adjustments. If it's other females, give yourself time to adjust to your sister wives. They might be some of the greatest friends you ever had, man. So give yourself time to make those adjustments. It might not fall right into place when you get there. The first couple of weeks or the first couple of months, or maybe for a year, who knows, but give it time. Okay? Gentlemen, I would say on the divorce certificate, think, man, because we're going to look into the matter. Don't just automatically do that because you're mad at the woman. Like I said, maybe over something in the bedroom or something like that. You know, she's not freaky enough for you, whatever the case is, right? Okay? All right? Don't let that be what you find and you come in front of me with that because I'm going to have to castigate you about it, okay? All right. Nation of Israel, these are our rules. Go read the Torah. Go read the book of Deuteronomy about these matters, okay? And I'll keep on counseling you guys because we're getting ready to make the Aliyah. You women should be out there getting ready and readying yourself for the Aliyah. And basically, I will be ready your body, cleanse your body, man. Get your body ready for children, okay? Because when we get there, it's going to be a baby boom, okay? When we get there. All right? Yes, that's right. Lots of children will be popping up all over the place. All right? All right, so remember this counseling. And thank you for listening to my counseling. Peace. Y'all bless.